Yo.
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 What's up, Mr. Saget?
I'm sorry I'm late, handsome gentlemen. Two things happened. I was talking to chicks in the office. They said they send their best and fuck off. And then I you got to use Chrome. So you got to go from Safari, and Safari kept opening. So,
well, let me just you're welcome for bringing you into the 21st century and getting on Chrome, Bob.
But Chrome, though, there's a song, right? With Chrome in it.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. You're hip. You know what's up. Are you on TikTok, Bob?
Am I? I have 1 million followers.
Do you? I'm not surprised.
Well, I am, because some people have 16 million. So now I must compete with them.
Are you making TikToks? What are you doing on TikTok?
Damn right I am.
Other than looking at the pretty girls on there, because that's
no, I don't. They're not all pretty. I mean, some of them, they zoom in close and the makeup just breaks off. But
TikTok, as far as glow ups go, TikTok was the girl and she's all that. Where it's TikTok when it first came out, was disgusting.
I know, gross.
I didn't see it when it first came out. I found out from friends that were on it, and they just said, "No, you should go on there." Howie Mandel and different people, and I just went, okay. And then I got Stamos on it, and of course he gets 1.5 million hits on his first video of just looking at his hair.
Yeah, that was bad. That was a bad move by you. That's bringing around a guy who's just much hotter and cooler than you. What can you do? It's Stamos. It's Stamos.
Well, hotter and cooler. I mean, one of those things. He is pretty. Yeah, I would say you're right. But I just did one with my wife the other day because she did the ALS haircut challenge, and it was supposed to shave your head, but she wouldn't do that, and so I cut off 4 inches of it.
Oof.
And she was upset. I did it on an angle, like I don't care. And then she said, the joke is, she said I cut 6 inches off, and I'm like, and I just said this a minute ago to the ladies, but I'm glad my wife thinks 4 inches, 6 inches. Yeah, so that's great. If I had a chode, I'd be a made man.
You mentioned Howie. How's Howie doing with all this?
Howie's good. Howie,
terrible for him, no?
No, his life, my life doesn't change that much. We I like being with people. We go out on the road, we're with people, but we're still at a distance. You're in a theater, you're not, touching them. Mm-hmm. But Howie's a prophet. I mean, the guy said, don't touch people,
Yeah.
And it turns out he's the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
The king of social distancing, yeah.
And I was Danny Tanner. So, between the two of us, we're prophets. We're disciples.
Are you a big germaphobe? I didn't know you were. When you came in, we shook hands and stuff, right?
Yeah. I think we rubbed penises. I'm not sure.
So you're a germaphobe, but not like Howie.
Well, I think we're all going to be more than we ever were. Yeah. I mean, when we end up on planes again, it's okay, it's not Corona, but I don't want to get a cold. I don't want the flu. I don't want some disgusting person's particles of their poo that's on the doorknob to touch me, because people don't wash their hands.
Yeah, I used to be. I used to be if you wash your hands, you're a pussy guy.
Yeah, now I'm all about it.
I Purell every time I go downstairs. I wash my hands a lot. I don't foresee that. I'm even picturing seeing friends again in bars and people being excited and trying to hug me.
No. We can wave.
Are you in bars? Are you going to bars now?
No. I'm just saying in the future when we get back. Yeah.
Well, I'm I don't like it all. And for years, drunk people have been spitting in my face. And then if you look at a movie years ago called Outbreak, that was there's a scene in it, and it shows the point of view of phlegm. And everybody's in a movie theater laughing. And I thought it was a joke when I watched it, but it actually is it's a lesson. A guy coughs, ball of phlegm comes out. The camera follows the ball of phlegm. It does a U-turn and then goes into another guy's mouth. Ugh. And you go well, that's it. That's how you get shit.
How I feel like you're very plugged in with all of Hollywood, right? I feel you know 1 million people.
Whoa. Sorry, this is my mic. I didn't know what was going on. That's not my mic, actually.
You got a little Bob Barker mic there? What are we working with here?
No. It's a thing that allows you to,
Look at you. You're high tech.
Something really important.
Just kind
Oh my God, the green button. But I've been doing like a lot of interviews. You know, I did The View, I did CNN. So it's like I had to, hey, everybody on television that's doing late night shows, don't be on Wi-Fi because you can't. You got to plug into an Ethernet cable. It's like, get the adapter.
Look
It's
at
like,
you. Tech savvy Bob Saget. I did not see that coming.
I direct movies, and you know, if you do that, you kind of know, you got to know how a plug works. So
that's true. How are the Hollywood elite handling all this?
some people they still have groups of people around them, but I think they get the test somehow. I think I'm going to be able to get the test that allows me to, by the way, I can touch my face because my hands are clean, but my face is fully infected. It's covered. I have syphilis and genital warts, but I don't have corona. So
I'm basically the same boat as you. I've been dealing with that for years, just not wanting to go to a doctor, and now it's even less a reason to go to a doctor.
You have genital warts?
Yeah. They laser them off, you know.
So you really have them.
Oh,
you got them from being with someone, and you got them, or do you just breed them?
No, I started them. I didn't get them.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you started them? Did you?
Yeah,
did you?
First ever. Yeah, I brewed this batch myself.
How do you do it? How do you get a genital wart?
You know when you kind of don't shower for a few days. You probably experienced this in quarantine. You don't shower for a few days, and you get like kind of that scent. That's like the brownies baking in the oven. And then
those aren't brownies. That's like pig knuckles sitting out in the yard. No, I don't do that.
No, me neither.
Once the funk happens and the Fromunda cheese starts forming,
Fromunda,
right?
Yeah.
You get the hell out of there. You don't want no schmeggy-licious stuff happening.
oh my
So that's how you grow mushrooms on yourself?
Yeah, that Fromunda you're talking about. That's like walking into the kitchen, mom's breaking brownies. Like, I know this smell. This is a good stuff.
No, it's not like mom break. If that's your sense of smell, then you've got to see a doctor.
No, Bob? Are you telling me you don't like it? Come on.
No, I don't like it.
You do like your own scent. Come on. I don't want to smell your Fromunda, but everybody likes their own Fromunda.
I don't think so. That's farts. Your own farts smell like Doritos.
You've never scratched and sniffed? That's a fucking lie.
I have, and then I go, I got to shower. And if you haven't clipped your nails, you got sample of Parmesan. You don't need that.
When I get that smell, it's like a Thanksgiving turkey where you're like, oh, we got a few more hours of letting this go before we need a shower. You bend down, you tie your sneakers a few times just to get down there.
I will tell you guys something that I've never admitted to anyone. Sometimes it's only worth it because it feels so good to scratch it. Because it's definitely eating away at your flesh, and you can die. That's why people in the Middle Ages or presently right now that can't shower because they can't afford, because their plumbing got shut off. The world's insane because we got a lot of problems. They're scratching and it feels good, but then you got to get in the shower.
Yeah, once you get in the shower after the scratching and you kind of work up the courage to take a look, and you're like, oh, I'm bleeding.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. It looks like Tiger King let one out and he just scratched your balls off.
Oh my God, you guys are fucking vile. You're both fucking vile.
Well, we wanted to open with something that would draw people in.
Yeah, I can't wait for this headline. Bob Saget talking about his Parmesan cheese nut scratching till he bleeds. Great.
Well, no, I didn't say it bleeds. Scratch marks. I mean, it would be taken. They'd find it. The coroner would find it. I wonder if you can die from that, from scratching down there.
Just bleeding out.
He scratched his balls to death.
Imagine that. Oh my God, Bob Saget killed himself. No, he was just scratching his balls.
I can see that. You scratch and you caught the femoral, right? What's that?
What you don't want to do right after that is not take a shower and Purell there. That's what you don't want to do. That is a ring of fire. You don't want to do that. Okay, so let me change the subject because I'm going to throw up. So how are you guys doing? Where are you?
I'm in New York. He's in Boston, and we're thriving, Bob. Thriving.
Now, why you're in your both apartments or you're in family?
I'm in my parents' house.
He's at home. I'm at my apartment. Yeah.
In fact, Bob, I'm in bed right now.
I can see. I have eyes, and I
was sitting in a chair over in the corner, but the light was weird, so they wanted me to move. And my family's all here. I figured they didn't want to hear this conversation, so I stayed in my room.
Oh no,
and,
your family heard this conversation?
No. They're downstairs, but had like one else there, they would have.
Yeah, I mean, you're not the first person to have a weird encounter in bed with Bob Saget, but we didn't expect to have it here today.
My wife's upstairs, which is good. She hasn't. She can't leave. That's my big joke. That's like, I was ready to do a new special. Had to get off the road, and I just kept coming up with jokes. So I'm glad I didn't shoot it because there's 10 minutes of pandemic humor. So, he's on his Wi-Fi jammed. Look what happened.
Yeah, he's frozen. What a fucking idiot.
No, I'm back.
No, you're back. You're back.
Okay.
Are you? So you were gonna shoot and then release, or I mean, that's a
What?
big. You were gonna shoot this special.
You
were gonna film a comedy special and put it out for consumption.
No,
I mean that's a fucking big curveball. No?
I was going to figure out where it's going to go first and have them come look at it as they do and see what fits right. My last one was an Amazon original, and then the one before that was on Showtime, and the one before that was, I don't know, but there was an HBO one before that. I don't know, but this one is really what?
You just lose track of all these major companies hosting.
Well, I lose track of specials because I'm like a 4-year between specials guys, where some people are every year, like Bill Burr. Dave Chappelle, they're so prolific. They just churn and they're amazing. I mean, and they're friends, which is even cooler. I love name dropping. You know that.
Yeah.
So I
did you watch Louis' new special?
Say so? What?
Did you see Louis' new one? You were just mentioning the new specials.
No.
Louis is very funny, Bob.
Does he talk about the whole deal?
Does
he addresses it at the end? Yeah.
Oh, that's what pulls you in.
It's interesting. Exactly. It's very funny. No matter what you think of him, it's very funny. And the way he addresses it is like he does it in a humorous way. He does it in somewhat of a apologetic way, but somewhat of a like, hey, I didn't really do anything wrong. It's I can see some people liking it, some people hating it, but I mean that's what Louis is right now anyway. But it was interesting to see. I mean, a full crowd of people chanting his name, laughing it up. I wonder if it's just like, he's back. I don't know. Well,
you're back if you have it. Is it Netflix?
No. He does his own. He has LouisCK.com. He releases it through his own website. He's always
before that. I mean, the last one was Netflix. So I mean, it's and his first one he released it through his own.
Right.
And he started the whole search engine of releasing your own special thing. It was
right.
Wow. And I've taken this time, as you know, because I'm on the promo, I'm a horror tour, but this is organic. Before the end of the year, I was so upset with how the world's going and how everybody's yelling at each other. It happened really 3 years ago. Even when I saw you guys, I was out touring. I think it was a vegetable in your studio. I was like, yeah, like a Titanic drowned victim, but all bloated, full up with minnow juice, covered in mushrooms on my scabies. But
oh God, this is a podcast.
Aren't scabies like people that work on a ship?
No, it's scurvy.
Oh, that's scurvy. A pirate ship.
Sorry. They can get scabies too, but
scurvy's a disease, and boy, we have no knowledge of disease right now.
None.
No, actually, we don't.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a disease around the world that's killing people, and we don't know very much. And it's and I think this is disease 2.0. I think 3.0 will be probably what you got on your sack, and then the other will be Cloverfield, or germ warfare or something crazy, or
that's what it is in Outbreak, right? Where you're talking about germ warfare, isn't that what Outbreak is? That's why they want to blow up the whole town because they don't want to ruin their bio weapon.
Exactly. Whereas in Contagion, it's more like this, I think.
Yeah, right. Contagions, it's crazy.
I'm not watching it.
both those movies have gotten so big. I'd never seen either one until this, and I watched them both.
He watched it like day 2 of quarantine. I mean, that's
the thing with them is though the big difference in those movies and the reality is how quick that kills you. Right, like this isn't as deadly. Those are, if you get it, you're dead.
For some people it is. I know, but so are the flesh-eating viruses that you'll hear. Someone goes into a hospital, they get I had a friend got a flesh-eating virus, and I was friends with his dad actually, and 3 weeks he was gone. I mean, and that was, and everybody's always saying, well, the flu kills more people. It's like, well, look, this we don't know what to do. The flu's going to kill people. Diseases are going to kill people. Yeah, and people get hit by a car. Why should we care about this? It's like,
those are the greatest arguments.
Insanely stupid. I can't believe people are still using that. It's nuts.
I have a daughter in Brooklyn, and there's people outside partying, and they're all, and this is the time not just we're not over the curve yet. We haven't gone over that.
We're like we're right there, and it's like we keep it up. It'll probably be okay. And this is going to be the time we reverse, and it's just so idiotic.
Some states are, and the Jacksonville Beach is open, and I actually been talking about this a lot. I even tweeted about it, which is it's like they're opening the beach, and it's like maybe there aren't cases there. Maybe nobody's going to die. Maybe no one's going to spread it. That's a miracle. It's impossible, but great. That would be amazing. But it's kind of like the mayor, played by a guy named Murray Hamilton in Jaws, who told Roy Scheider, you open that beach. This is our top tourism time. Mm-hmm. And then like 9 people get eaten by a shark.
Amity, as you know, means friendship.
Right.
But we are joint. There is something about this time where we might have been at war with Iraq right now. I don't know what would have happened. And this kind of made us all have a common enemy. And I kind of like the quarantine of it. I don't like cleaning everything all the time. But what
do you do for fun? What's Bob's like? Do you smoke, Bob? Was yesterday a holiday for you?
No, I don't smoke pot, but my podcast did premiere on 420, and I did that purposely because everybody thinks I'm high anyway. I mean, they really do.
Drink?
I do, but I'm stopping right now because I quarreled with my wife, and it's like that was Bob being bad. And when you're talking third person, you're either a rapper or you're a self-loathing Jewish person. So, I feel bad that I did that. And alcohol will do that. And why do that? And they always say don't drink at home anyway. But this became like, wow.
Who's they?
Those 4 people I keep in my basement. I have a minion of slaves that tell me, not slaves. But
what if one day we learn
gimp suits? I don't want you to think I believe in slavery. I'm saying they're sexual slaves, and I pay them, and they want it. So my wife doesn't know about it. She can't hear me right now. I'm in my study.
Have you ever seen the movie Big Fish?
Of course, I love that damn movie.
In the end, like with the funeral, when he realizes that all of his father's stories are all real.
Yeah.
What if that happens with Bob Saget one day? What if you die and then we're like he did have 4 sex slaves in his basement and he did do this and he did do that.
He did scratch his nuts till they bled. No, that's what's different about me. That's why I haven't gone to jail. That's why I don't need to do a special that begs for redemption without begging for it. I haven't. I talk about it.
Right.
I've done a couple of things I'm not proud of. I got divorced 25 years ago, and I'm married now for 2 years. Been with her for 4 years, and that's it. I'm so happy. But I've done things, for 20 years I was doing stuff. I was single from my midlife crisis is 90 years long.
What's your most embarrassing moment that you would be willing to talk about? Do you have a party moment?
I'm always doing something. I was, oh my God. I did something yesterday. I'm always bad cop, good cop, but you're fucked, bad cop. A guy I've known for years, he called me and he said, hey, you want to be part of this TV show? We're doing it on Zoom and can you do it? And I went, well, yeah, but what is it? Tell me about it. And then he's driving through tunnels and then I texted him and I left him a message and I went, look, I love you. I've known you for 30 years, but you didn't tell me about the show. You're driving we're all in quarantine. Why couldn't you just call me from home? It's kind of disrespectful. I would do anything for you. I just don't know what it's about. Why are you driving on a conference call with 2 other guys? The call keeps dropping. And it turns out that he was driving to the hospital because his wife was having brain surgery.
Oh.
So that's pretty up there with being an
Bob, I thought you were going to end that with and it was Bryan Cranston, and we're going to do Breaking Bad.
No, I will not name a star. It was O.J. Simpson, my buddy, the Jew. Oh, wait. Does he have a wife? I don't know. I think he's got a putter. But anyway, back to the thing I'm supposed to talk about, but I want to talk about. Hold on. I just have a Corona moment.
Uses the cough button.
Yeah, what a professional.
I muted that damn thing. I'm just up too early. I haven't been sleeping. Have you guys been sleeping?
I've been sleeping. Bob, I was saying, we were talking about it last episode. I'm turning into a geriatric during this. I'm in bed by 9, exhausted by 7. I eat a lot of raisins. I'm an old person now.
You sat in a rocking chair eating raisins, watching the birds yesterday, right? Squirrels. Just kill yourself.
Oh no,
I thought you meant the movie The Birds.
No,
you're actually watching squirrels. You're looking out your window at squirrels.
Yep, right out the window, just watching squirrels around the trees.
Do you yell "Get off my lawn" yet?
It's coming next.
And the N-word.
Corona. I could see him being like, "You damn kids, break that party up."
Hey, you know what? I actually really get it with old people too, because I know what my neighbors do now. I'm spying on my neighbors. There's not shit else to do. No wonder that lady's gone for 3 walks today. What's wrong with her? Right. Her and the husband must be fighting.
There's a famous Hitchcock movie with Jimmy Stewart, Rear Window, and he's got a broken leg, and he's looking out the window at all of the apartments, and he sees all the dramas, and he witnesses a murder, and it's really cool. And we're kind of living that. It depends on where you live, but if you're living in the city, you're looking out your window. It's a mosaic of just people doing all kinds of shit. And I like that. But I'm here in LA. It's spread out, but I'm still not touching anybody. The UPS guy wanted to kiss me the other day, I think. You can't lick linoleum anymore, toilet seats. You can't rub cardboard boxes on your junk. It's all dangerous.
That's why Bob got on TikTok to do the coronavirus challenge, to start licking toilet seats.
That's perfect.
How's the podcast going, Bob?
That's what I want. Yeah, because I didn't think I was going to do one because everybody's got one. Literally, the kid across the street has one for real. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I was like, no, but I wanted to do it because I was saying because of all the anger in the world, and it kind of accompanied my stand-up, and it just made sense. And then I started planning it before the end of the year, and then the beginning of the year comes. And I was able to put 2 episodes where you do them on YouTube as well as your Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all that stuff. And then little did I know that this happened. So I was only able to do 2 episodes where I went in studio, and then they started shutting it down, and I was insisting they spray everything down, give me my own mic, my own ear stuff,
Fucking diva Bob Saget over here.
No, it scared me. And then they took care of me and I have the board here, and I just started doing it. And it's really interesting what happened because it's called Bob Saget's Here For You. And the idea of it is exactly what the title is. And I the first 2 weeks, I'm 3 episodes, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then I go in the 3rd week on Monday and Thursdays till the end of time, which apparently is next March. So, but the whole idea is I have guests. I have big names, people that are really just my friends. I've got John Stamos, Macaulay Culkin, Howie Mandel. Yeah.
That's such a get.
He's such a good guy. And Tiffany Haddish and Howie Mandel and Bill Burr. Bill Burr drilled me a new asshole. It's unbelievable. I'm sorry. Are you texting your mom? Are you getting
sorry?
Is Dave sending you a frozen pizza? Dave's frozen pizza shit keeps me alive.
He is. Did you see his finger the other day? What he did to his
knuckle? Oh yeah, that's when his goldfish killed himself.
Oh my God, you're in, huh?
I'm all over it. I can't get enough of it. And I know his minions because he's a private account are accepting the world because he's got another million all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But I ended up doing this. The coolest thing I'm doing on this podcast, which I haven't seen a lot, but everybody's taking callers their whole life on all radio forever. And Stern was always amazing at it. And then would just all of a sudden hang up on people, And I used to be a regular on his show and stuff. And now I put a phone number up in the link of the thing on the thing with the thing, on the Apple podcast, and people call that number, and I announce it on Twitter and Instagram. I'm calling tomorrow Pacific time, 1:30 to 4:30. I'm doing it in 2 days, and for 3 or 4 hours, I'll make 3 episodes of calling people, or 2 episodes, depending on how. If sometimes it's a 90-minute episode because I can't not do it because it just seems right. It is the time's what it's supposed to be. And I'm calling people and they're picking up, sometimes not because I'm a blocked number, but it's my phone's hooked into the board. It sounds great. And
so who are you calling? Give me an example.
The people, just nice people. I talked to a guy the other day and he was stoned for 35 minutes. He was stoned the whole time. He laughed the whole time. We were
just
talking
a regular guy. We're not talking about
these are regular people. No, because my friends I call, but that's different. Those are the guests. Like once a week I'll have, or every few episodes I'll have a name of note.
Right.
That's like good people. But then and a couple episodes I'll just talk. It'll just be me riffing, and I can do that nonstop. End up scratching my junk, talk about it, and then talk about peace on earth, So it's like I'm all over the place. But I'll have a guest that's a lady that tells me she's a nurse and she's got a patient that died that day and she's got an autistic son. And I'm not going to be doing dick jokes on that call,
Right.
And it just hits me and I'm affected. So it's literally one-on-one real stuff. And I'm not like one of the fake TV doctors that tells you bullshit that they have to apologize for the next day because they're making shit up. Inhale from a sardine can, it's like, right. And then I'm able to also then get a guy on the phone that goes, tell me the aristocrats. Let's talk about my dick. I'm like, sir, I'm not going to talk about it, but let's talk about it. And then
that's what's good about the podcast. Like you can show a lot of different sides of yourself. I'm sure some people think of you as just Danny Tanner or just the dick jokes or just this, just that. And you realize, you can do it all in one shot.
It changes. I'm a chameleon throughout the episode. And so it's really rewarding. I actually look forward to hitting that record button. The other day, I can't run it anywhere, but I was trying to film myself because I can't do the YouTube professionally because I wanted to record it on an iPhone so they could take that, turn that up to, put that up to YouTube, and then record the podcast. And as I was doing it, all the wires and everything, the board fell over. I fell on the floor. It's like,
why are you not putting it out? Put that out.
Right. Maybe I'll run it. Maybe I'll go.
That's the shit that people want. They don't. The times that we screw up are our most our fans' favorite times. Definitely.
Right. Now, I would assume you've got more downloads than ever right now. Is that accurate?
The early going, I'm not sure what it is last few weeks. The first week there was a dip because I feel like a lot of our listeners are East Coast cities. So we're getting a lot of commuters and we're getting a lot of people at the gym. And that's like their time when you listen to podcasts by yourself. And so without those 2 times, there was a spike down in the very beginning. But I'm hoping, I don't know what it's been recently. I'm hoping that people kind of found their routine. Like, all right, I used to listen on the train, but now I'm going to listen when I'm eating lunch or when I go to bed or whatever it may be. Because I think it was more just about finding more time to yourself. If you're stuck at home and you got your kids and your wife or your roommates or whatever, it's not like the same alone together situation. So I don't know what it is recently. I hope it's more than ever, but I know in the beginning there was a dip.
I think a lot of people that you've accumulated over time need this. I think, in the late night shows, the quality is this. And their ratings are up because you're watching news all day. The younger people want to see Jimmy or Steven or Seth or James or whatever. But it's weird. It's weird that people need an outlet right now.
Right.
they need.
I got a question. Speaking of outlet, I listened to your podcast episode. I loved it. One thing you talked about a lot, free association. What is it?
Well, it's when you associate and you don't charge people. And that's why my podcasts are available for free if you download from Apple Music. It's when you, it's improv. It's letting your brain go down paths. I wrote a book called Dirty Daddy and I decided to do it. And the publishers were like, HarperCollins, they were concerned that I'm not using normal language. I was talking about, deaths in my family. And then all of a sudden I'm walking up the stairs worrying I'm going to have drainage as I get older and it's going to come out of me. And then I'm going to slip on the stairs and fall and die. And then I'll wind up like after being very emotional about talking about true deaths in my family. And I had a great editor and they all had a meeting of the minds and it came out well. And it's just the way I've always been. Since I was a stand-up at 17 years old, so that's 40 plus years. My God, I'm gonna die.
But I feel, I feel like acting is almost the opposite of that, though, right? Like stop, go, action, cut.
The last time I think I saw you, I was doing a play, Hand to God, in New York. I think. I'm not sure, or I was on.
You mentioned it. I don't know if you were doing it, but you mentioned it.
Oh, then I must have been done doing it. But that was you got to hit your mark, you got to hit your lines, you got to do your cues, and there's no room for that. But I did another play in New York once, Drowsy Chaperone. Bob Martin was the original, and it's a brilliant play. And there's latitude within that. You got to hit your cues, but you can, because I had the Man in Chair, which was the lead, but my mother, who was alive then, said, "Man in Chair, that's the name of your character. You couldn't get a real part," but he was the star of the play. He was not the star. He was the narrator. He was the Art Town. But it was, it's all different. Everything's a different muscle. But I love, like, if I'm doing stand up, I love, and if it's a special, especially. That's great wording. I'm able to, do that, self-reflect, make the laugh is in the fuck up,
How much of yours of a set of yours, if you go on stage, is canned material versus you just start riffing?
I like that you call it canned material. It really gives respect to my art. And the laughs are canned, and I like those Hormel little knuckles, those little teeny little wieners that but the new work I'm doing is telling stories and doing jokes that are kind of more linear in a way. And then I'll go off if something happens or if something reminds me of something, I'll go off. But I am always pretty lucid, so I always come back to the topic, and that's where people are reassured. Oh, wait a minute, because it takes a lot of preparation to go off. You can't. You have to know what you're going to come back to. If you go to woohoo and you're gone.
Yeah, I think that. Do you think that people don't think you're lucid at times? Like when you start to go, I feel like you always do bring it back, and I'm like, oh, all right. Like he knew where he was going, and he took it there, and then he brought it back to the question
I didn't know where I was going purposely, and that's like free fall. You're just going, and then when you come back. And that's like people go, whoa. And then they realize, oh, this guy has been doing this for 40 years.
Right.
And bombed for first 10,
Right.
But then you look at people like Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr, a bunch of people. But those guys specifically that do a stand-up where they'll just, and I told Bill this on the podcast recently, it's like they're diving into a swimming pool with no water in it. And the audience is like, oh my God, why'd they bring that up? This is not the time to bring that up. How could Dave say that? How could Bill say that? And then you go, whoa. So it's so great that they think of something and then they get the ending and then they work backwards with how can I get there? And that gives them time. You have time in the middle to play.
Right.
And say it differently all the time. But you're still coming to a resolution that has some kind of, finite ending that makes sense. And that, whoa, that's what that was about. Whether it works or not sometimes. It doesn't always work. But most of the time it does because you've been out there doing it. So,
well, and that's what I think is good about podcasting too, is the bar is obviously a lot lower than when you're on stage for a comedy act, where it's like people are paying money and they expect to laugh. It's got to be, very tight. Podcasting,
But I don't look at podcasts like that's what. See, but I'm a newbie. You guys have been doing.
I don't look at it that way either. I'm not saying that I'm just like, fuck it, who cares? But if you go off on a rant that's off topic, you can kind of just be like, anyway, let's get back to it. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to feel like it's all segmented perfectly and all smooth.
No, because the key to broadcast, podcast, radio is to be a companion. You're not performing. Right. Sometimes I hear podcasts from people and they're working so hard to cover their typed up sheets of questions. And sometimes that's amazing, if it's done by people like Conan O'Brien is like, he's a master,
right?
And deserves all the accolades in the world. He's brilliant. He can go through notes and make them work, or just be brilliant because his mind is unusual. And there's a lot of people that I look up to. So I was like, I didn't want to be going, I'm going to do a podcast so I can compete with other people. I just had something to offer people that respond to my stuff, and makes people feel a little better. And yet it doesn't mean I'm not going to talk about my testicles or my butthole, but I don't talk about my butthole, but I do hold it up to the camera. When I'm back on the YouTube, I might post a YouTube today of one of the episodes that was filmed. There's only 2 of them, but maybe I'll show that screw up like you suggest.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Yeah, it's funny you say that, because the companion thing, because we're trying to take the podcast. We're doing the opposite of you. You're going from stage to podcast. We're going from the podcast and trying to take it on the road and go to comedy clubs. And I always feel awkward on stage. And I think it's what you just said, is that I'm used to people thinking of us as like just part of the conversation, not the performer to which they are like paying to watch and see. I'm always like, oh shit, we got to make them laugh. We got to put on a show. Well, what you really want is just like bullshit,
But you'll find that, there's people out there doing it. Kevin Smith and my friend Chris Hardwick sometimes. Doug Benson goes out and they do, their podcast, and Doug Loves Movies, and people will talk about movies, and he gets a panel, and people want to be part of that because it's like fun, and I guess it's considered hip, but it's a discussion, and that's great. I think that's great. And then you'll find things that work with everybody, to give them a show. You'll find a way to make it have a ending and a beginning.
Right.
I mean, it's not that hard. And then once you do that, where you're headed. At least you have closure.
Right.
At the end.
Well, I mean, as far as free association goes, you're one of the best in the biz, babe. So people should definitely look forward to that podcast. Bob Saget is here for you, available on all platforms for free. I know how you keep saying that, for free. Most podcasts are free, Bob. Don't worry about that.
I found that out. I
was like, wait a minute, I'm not getting fucking paid for this? What's going on?
And I said, Apple Podcasts, it's free. And Bill goes, okay, let me tell you how this works, Bob. You have no advertisers. Then you end up with, if you get over 60,000 people, then you get some advertisers. Then you got to see, there's so much out there that if you go up the thing, but I'm actually, for just launching, I'm actually doing pretty well as far as what I'm told is audience and ranking and all that crap. But that's like looking at being on a TV show and looking at ratings all the time. It'll drive you insane.
Yeah, you can't do that. The day you start catering to the ratings and the downloads is the day you don't get them, because your show's
I've never really done that. Well, I have done that. I did it for 10 years. When you have, real popular top 10 shows, you listen to the testing. Oh, we're going to test your pilot. Oh, that's great. But it's, there's it's whatever beast you're on, it's whatever medium you're on. Right now we're on microfiche. we're on Viewmaster right now. I actually like this. I like watching shows if the people have a decent signal.
Yeah. I feel like it humanizes people even further. It's like, yeah, we're all sitting in our bed or hanging out in the kitchen or whatever, and it becomes much more relatable. So
I even enjoy some of the ones that are a little overproduced and John Krasinski's been doing some good stuff, you know, and it's like he's doing it because he wants to do it. And that's
some good news. There's some good news. Is such a good idea. He's a genius.
Yeah.
Genius.
I really like it, you know, and some of it is like, okay, I don't know, you're not really helping anybody.
Yeah, it's nice because everyone's trying something, and then
yeah.
When he made that little girl happy, and he had Lin-Manuel, and they all sang from Hamilton. I'm sorry, I don't care how macho person you are. That was just awesome. That was great. Yeah. But singing Imagine, I don't know.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, I'm sure you're going to be having many of your own moments on your podcast. So everybody check it out. Bob Saget's here for you. And as always, we appreciate it, man. Thanks so much.
I think a lot of you guys, I think a lot of you, I can't stop thinking about you. I'm going to be thinking about all kinds of mushrooms growing.
Everybody go shower. Everybody's going to go shower right now.
We're all going to shower right now. It's time to shower.
Thank you so much, Bob. You're the best.
Man. Have a good one.
Well, okay.
You as well. Talk to you soon.